I am AJ Hurd. I'm born and mostly raised in Sacramento, California. I am a civil engineering undergraduate at UC Merced, graduating this December 2025. Being in Sacramento, I actually had no idea where Merced was. I was applying to colleges, to some other UCs, some other public schools around the nation. I wasn't getting the responses back that I like to hear, and so it kind of got me a little discouraged. And at that point, I thought, well, I can just go to the military. Both of my parents were in the Air Force. I get an email from UC Merced about a week before I signed some contracts to go to the military. And they say, hey, we want to give you this scholarship, this grant. I said, hey, I don't even know where Merced is, but let me do some research. Found out it was in Central Valley, so it wasn't too far from home, just a 2-hour drive. And I said, hey, I'll give it a semester. Let's give it a semester. And here I am 4 years later, about to graduate with a civil engineering degree. So UC Merced for me was a playground of opportunity. I believe that so much is put into UC Merced because it's a new university. To be able to take those resources and just have access to them. I can meet with my professors any day of the week. I can go and I can get letters of recommendation. I can go and do research. And there's just so much area to grow here and so much opportunity that is attainable, which is why I was able to get into my 2 internship opportunities, my 2 study abroad opportunities, then create my own organization. Not to say you can't do this at other campuses, but to definitely say that there's resources there that encourage it. My mom, I was living with her most of the time in California. She would tell me these stories and we would watch videos on how it is to live in new areas and to learn languages. I wanted to make sure that I took this time to actually explore in that way. And somebody had told me, like, hey, you don't have to stay in California, you know, if you want to work over the summer. So I said, all right, I'm going to Alaska. And while I was out there, I said, hey, I gotta take this to the next level. And I knew that the study abroad applications were ending pretty soon. Singapore came up on the list and I applied. I did even have my passport at the time. I had to get my passport all figured out within like a month and a half or else I wouldn't have been accepted into the program. And I get there and it was just magnificent. I got back from Singapore and I knew I had to leave a slightly bigger impact on Merced than I had initially thought about. Created an organization, I got involved with campus life, but that travel bug was really just inside me still at that point. I said, I have to get out and go somewhere again. We applied to 2 other programs and one of them was Cape Town, South Africa. I saw that they had a pretty interesting food scene, and so that's what I told the program, CIEE. Through my fundraising, I get on the phone with the professor from Merced College actually. Paul Regine tells me, hey, you're going to Africa? I said, yeah, I'm going to Africa. He's like, and you're not gonna build a well? I was like, what do you mean? You know, like, this is the last thing I was expecting to hear. He says, Ethiopia is in very much dire need of a well. And it's telling me all these stats and how he owned a nonprofit and has done this in the western side of Africa. And so I said, hey, I'm on board. I like the way you think. When we stopped in Ethiopia, fundraised $6,000 to build that well, stayed there 2 weeks, and then went to Cape Town. I spent another 2 months to conduct my internship and impacting the food scene in Cape Town specifically.